Freelancers, I know you're busy, so if you're cold pitching to land clients, you need to be pitching the right people to preserve that precious time of yours. Stop cold pitching people with hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. Stop cold pitching people who have no money to pay you. There's something called a sweet spot client, and those are the ones you need to be cold pitching. So in this video, let's talk about how to find those sweet spot clients, plus who you should definitely not be pitching, and my filtering system for deciding which clients are worth my time to pitch as a freelancer. Hey, it's Daya, freelancer, digital business manager, and most recently entrepreneur. And as always, you can find sections on the play bar below if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Your time is precious. Take what you need. If you want to watch this on 2x, I won't be offended. Let's dive in. Okay, to make my point, I need to draw this on the screen and tell this to you from the client's perspective so you understand at what point you need to enter their world and be their freelance savior. So let's draw out a hypothetical timeline of starting a business. On the left, we have someone who's literally on day one of starting their solo business. Just getting started, this person has zero cash flow, no products or services, nothing figured out, maybe just an idea of some kind. And all the way on the right, you have people who have millions of followers, subscribers, have been years and years in business, are 7, 8, 9, 20 figures in business, full team, whatever. So along this timeline, there are many milestones and phases, but if I were to simplify it, I would say there are three big phases. Number one, the startup phase. Number two, the growth phase. And number three, the established phase. And I've worked with clients in all three of these phases, people who literally only had an idea and needed my help with product development, to people who were hiring like crazy in their growth phase, and of course, people who have seven-figure businesses, full teams, their ducks in a totally nice and neat row. So you need to understand these three phases because the priority of a client is totally different in each of these phases, and that priority greatly impacts the success of your cold pitch. So let's dive into it. In the first startup phase, unless they have external funding, the client probably does not have much money. They're just starting, they're still trying to prove their product or service. They strongly value their money, so they're relatively cheap and try to do everything themselves. Their income also fluctuates a lot because they're still trying to figure things out and see what makes sense about their products and services. Some months they may make $300 and other months they may make $2,300. So when I, as an example, started my own course business, when I was in the startup phase, I was doing almost everything myself because I wasn't making any money yet. I was still developing my course product, so it was a little too risky to hire someone long-term before I had proven that product. You can spot a startup client when you hear things from them like, I'm doing everything myself right now, email, social media, product marketing, tech, or I'm not even really sure what my business is about yet. I'm still testing and trialing things out. Or I'm just getting started so I don't have a big budget right now. Or the toxic nickel and diming edition, you're too expensive. I can find someone cheaper. Or wait, did you bill me an hour for something that only took you 58 minutes of work? So yes, you can pitch and work with startup clients. They can be great clients to get started with as a freelancer because they're also trying to just figure things out. So you can kind of figure things out together. They can be great one-time clients, I'll say, but in my opinion, your main pitch strategy, especially cold pitching, should not be to focus on startup clients. This is not the sweet spot that I was talking about for all the reasons I said. So money is tight for them. They're probably not going to be financially stable enough to be a long-term client for you until they hit that growth phase. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you have your established phase. Established phase clients are people who are situated. They're known in their industry, in their field. They have been there for a while. It's lived in. They've been there at least a few years. They seem to really have their stuff together. These can obviously be great clients to work with, but I will say that they're trickier, much trickier to cold pitch because chances are, if they've been in business for this long, they have a team that they love working with already. And depending on how big they are, they might not be at all interested or even be reading cold pitches that land in their Instagram or email. So if you're a beginner, I don't recommend pitching these at all. I pitched a lot of too big for my shoes businesses when I started, and I was rightfully, oh my gosh, she just scaled me. And I was rightfully ghosted because they were totally out of my league. I also don't think it's worth spending 20 to 30 minutes drafting a pitch that has like a 10% chance of being read. Chances are if they're big time, they're getting hundreds of pitches. So you either have to do something really special to stand out or you'll just be drowned out in all the other noise. Okay, so now let's talk about the in-between, the middle phase right here, the growth phase. once a business hits full proof of concept, aka their business is viable, profitable, they have customers of some kind, things are running, people like their products and services, that's when they officially hit their growth phase. In the growth phase, the client has customers. They have more money. They know what they have works. Now they just want to expand, grow, scale, make things bigger. So as an example, in my course business, I hit the growth phase, I would say near the end of 2020 when I started to get my first 100 or 2 students into the course. And now suddenly things needed to expand and I was hitting my time capacity as the CEO. So at this stage, the client strongly values their time because their to-do list is piling up. They literally cannot and are unable to do everything if they want to grow. At this stage, clients that are not willing to outsource will be the sole reason that they cannot grow. So smart growth clients know they have to hire if they want to grow. So this phase, in my opinion, is where you'll find the sweet spot client. You want clients who are actively in that growth phase. Growth clients say things like, I have too many clients and everything's a mess. I know I need systems, but I literally don't have time to set anything up. Or I have too much going on and I know I need to hire and outsource, but I just don't have any time to put together job description. I need someone like yesterday to help me. I can't keep up with my business. My team is sending me 392 messages a day. I have so many projects piling up. Everything is overdue in my project management tool, and I don't think I can ever take a vacation because everything depends on me. These growth people are feeling acutely, achingly, the pain of doing things on their own. They are exhausted, frustrated, and trust me, tons of business owners live and have lived in the stress for way too long. I've worked with 40 plus freelance clients myself, but I've talked to hundreds of business owners, and I would say majority of them are in this growth phase. I talked to a client recently who's swamped with their own client work and just doesn't have time to set up a project management tool, who verbatim said to me, if someone could just set up this project management tool for me properly, I would happily pay them a couple $100s. I know I need this to run a good business. And I've also had clients that were metaphorically like throwing money at me just to fix all these little fires in their business, all these little issues at this stage, because it's so incredibly overwhelming for the business owner to be stuck in that growth phase and know that they are limiting themselves, that they are the blocker from the business of their dreams. And chances are this growth client doesn't have time to be nickel and diming. They have some money in the bank. They see the potential of their business. They have some stability in their income. They don't want to lose momentum. And if they're smart, they know hiring is the solution. So this is where you need to enter their world. Growth clients are the sweet spot clients to cold pitch. And if you're a beginner, I would pitch in this region. And if you're more advanced, I would pitch more in this region. Okay, so now let's talk more specifics. How do you find out where they are in this timeline and if they're actually a sweet spot client? So the short answer is you do this via a lot of snooping, a lot of detective work. I am the creepiest version of myself when I'm trying to figure out if someone is a good person to pitch. So here's what I check for in order of priority. The first thing I look for is evidence of any cash flow. What kinds of products or services do they already have ready and are selling actively in the market? Do they share anything about their customers, clients, any indicators of revenue? So for example, if someone says that they have hundreds of students in their course and their course is $500, you can do some math, you can guess that they have cash flow. For example, if someone is featuring tons of their clients in their stories or in their Instagram highlights, and you know their services start at $2,000, you can probably guess that they have some cash flow. Some business owners also share income recap blog posts or videos. You can easily find out how much money they make there as well. So if it seems like they're making at least $5,000 to $6,000 a month steadily, depending on their business type, model, profit margins, I would say they may be slowly entering this growth phase and they may have disposable income to invest a couple $100s into hiring. Obviously, the more money they make, the bigger retainers and packages you can probably pitch. I personally wouldn't pitch a $2,000 package to someone making $6,000. I would pitch a $2,000 package to someone making more than $15,000. I would pitch, a $500 package to someone making $6,000. It's all about proportions, right? It's all about how much money do they have left over to invest in their business, and you kind of want to match where they're at. Now, obviously, the amount you're pitching depends and varies greatly on what service you offer and how valuable it is to their business and solving their problems, but this is just to give you some figures to work with. My hands want to be part of the video, Then, this is kind of the most obvious one. I always look for very clear signs of I need help. Here are real signs that I have read, seen, heard from business owners. A business owner posting on Twitter, I'm looking to expand my team. If you're a freelancer who's great at what you do, please DM me. I cold pitched and landed that client. A business owner on Instagram stories, I haven't been able to take a vacation in years, basically since I started my business. They need a cold pitch from a digital business manager to set up systems and help manage their team so they are comfortable leaving their business to take a vacation. Or a YouTuber in a YouTube video saying, I have so many emails in my inbox and a million small things on my to-do list. They might need a virtual assistant to cold pitch them. A business owner via email, I'm feeling super overwhelmed by my business. I've hired a ton of people, but I feel like I'm doing way more things than ever before. So they need a cold pitch from a digital business manager to manage their teams and projects and take things off their plate as a CEO. Those are obviously the best signs you can spot for someone you need to pitch ASAP, like within 24 hours with a really good, valuable pitch about specifically how you will solve that pain point that they have and make their lives easier immediately. That's super important. If you spot any kind of frustration, overwhelm, any sign like that on anybody's social media, in their emails, wherever in your communications with them one way or another, you can be that cold pitch to solve that frustration for them. Next thing I crawl is their social media presence. What's going on? Is it active? I don't pitch people who haven't posted on Instagram in months. My Instagram looking at me like, girl, if they haven't been active on any social media in ages, I wouldn't pitch them. I think that is not a good use of your time probably. Because if their Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, email list, there's just some sign of digital life is regularly updated, that's a great sign. And I often use social media numbers to be an indicator for business size and revenue, which I know is not super accurate, but since most small businesses don't publish their revenue numbers, this kind of sometimes works as a substitute. So, sweet spot clients, in my opinion, have a couple thousand to tens of thousands of subscribers, followers, an email list. I wouldn't pitch people who have a couple hundred followers. That may signal they're still starting and getting going. Of course, there are exceptions. This is just a general thing. And I definitely wouldn't pitch anyone with like over 500,000 followers, subscribers, and email list. They're probably in the established business phase and have way too many DMs. And the last thing I look for evidence of are team members. Do they already have a team? If yes, who do they already have? This is a really good check to see if they already have someone who does what you would want to do on their team. So example, if you're a virtual assistant and they mention that they have a VA on Instagram, I probably wouldn't pitch them. It takes a lot for a business owner to replace someone who's already embedded in their business and knows everything about everything that they do. And of course, it's nice to see also evidence of existing team members because it shows, one, they understand the concept of hiring, and probably two, value hiring people. And if they have even just one team member, it can signal that they're entering that growth phase too. Okay, so if they have at least 3 of the 4 things in this filter, then I would say they may be entering or actively already in the growth phase, and I think they are a sweet spot client to pitch. Like, watch Ginger Fetches. I know that this was a heavy video, so here's your quick takeaway and a 15-minute homework if you're up for it. Pick one person you're curious about pitching and spend 15 minutes looking for the 4 pieces of evidence I just talked about. Cash flow, any obvious I need help signs, their social media presence, and a team, okay? And once you've identified the right person to pitch, great job, you've done the heavy lifting now essentially. So next up in this 4-part cold pitching series is how to, step by step, write an absolutely bombastic cold pitch that a business owner is excited to receive and excited to read and excited to reply to. Winner, 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 trifecta dinner. You can catch it here if you want to keep this watch train going. Yeah, right here. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you hopefully in the next one. Okay, bye!